Taryn, it's tearing up my heart. You said something before we started recording, and I'm like, no, you did not say that. But I was so glad you said that. You mentioned Canva.
Oh, yes. Canva, the new magic experience.
Magic, magic, magic. Uh-oh, it's magic. What did you think about their whole debut earlier this month on this like brand new Canva?
See, I was so excited. I blocked the time. They did like this whole thing. I double booked myself. I had a meeting, so I didn't go.
You didn't miss anything. I was kind of irritated with them because they
Oh, it
said
was
like they
boring.
scheduled the
Okay.
time, and for me it was 9 o'clock
Yeah.
Pacific time. There was nothing. It's just if you open up Canva, it was like suddenly look at what we have. And I opened up
Oh,
Canva before that because I needed to do something, and it was already there. Like last year they did like a conference, right? Not a conference, but like a Zoom
yeah.
call. They
Yeah.
didn't. They didn't.
That's what
So
I thought it was going to be.
that's what they made it look like. And so some people, because I went to their Instagram, because I'm like, did I miss something? And people are like, wait, what was this? Like, why didn't you do a little pizzazz where you demonstrated, like you physically demonstrated the changes? And like, that's
Right.
good feedback. We'll take that back for next year. I was like, okay, Canva.
You can't just roll out all this AI stuff. Like, I am a component of, I like AI, there's
Mm-hmm.
a piece of it I like, but
Mm-hmm.
also it's everywhere. It's almost overwhelming of like, you need to show me how to use it.
It's like when guacamole was popular, which is always popular in my world. Avocados popular, but for a while they're like everything had with guacamole. And it was like, but you're putting it with something that I don't know if I want avocado ice cream or guacamole ice cream. Like, did you think about how to put that together before you decided it was available? And I
I feel like
love,
that's
I mean,
matcha right now. Matcha is like with
yeah,
everything. Matcha ice cream. And I'm like, huh.
I think that it on your side of the world, California is a little faster with all those things. Like,
Oh yeah, we
yeah,
get it after you guys.
yeah. But yes, I hear that. I remember when matcha was like, it has matcha. And I'm like, okay, but what? How do I put matcha on my steak? I don't get
You're like, I just want matcha in my drink. That's it.
it.
Can we let it be there? Let it be in its zone of genius.
Matcha own business. I tried. I tried. They say puns are
That
the
was good.
lowest form of comedy, by the way. So I thought, but okay, we Canva thing, and you said zone of genius. What made me laugh about that is because Canva is doing the most. And so it's kind of like, what is Canva's zone of genius? What is Canva's like? Who the heck is Canva? Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
calling you
know
out,
anymore
Canva.
because it used to be like all design, but from the little snippets that I did see that they rolled out, is you can put in your brand voice now and then it writes stuff for you.
Yeah, and
Like,
I
oh,
try and put it in the lens of for small business owners and network marketers, and I was like, well, Canva, that's cute, but who, first of all, or firstly, as they like to say these days, like if you have your social media, like all of your posts, let's say you put all your Instagram posts inside of one file, and you actually have text somewhere on them, you
mhm.
can have it magically change it into a blog or a summary. But you and I know, sure, on social teams we have like logical, we have words strategically put. We were very strategic about how we design, so that works. But you and I know most people don't. I was like, okay,
No.
no, most
If
like
anything, it should be the other way around, where if you wrote a blog, it'll make a bunch of social media caption
yeah,
posties for you.
and it's not really like that. Although there is something where you can put in like 5 words, like low tox living, and it will like make posts. Or I put in a book title, and it was like the best book, and it makes different posts and changes. But I was like, okay, you're doing so
Yeah.
much, Canva, just so you can say you have AI that I don't remember who you are anymore. This is why I do not train on Canva. I've said this for years. Like, there's
Yeah.
too many nuances and too many ways to do it. I will not train people on how to use Canva. I'll send them somewhere else to do it. And
Mm.
and now even more so, I'm like, oh my gosh. But it
Yeah.
seems to me like a big black hole where people can get stuck into it, and there's no like, what was the point, or what can Canva do? And I actually met with people like, what can these new things in Canva do to leverage my business? And I was like, okay, in coaching, I'm like, what's your social media plan? What's your funnel? Okay, based on what your funnel is to get people to join your business or buy your product, Canva and the things that you know that you need help with, Canva is not going to help you with that. So I think
yeah,
this is,
I agree.
you know, I think it's a good segue into what we were going to talk about today, which was like, you need to know who you are, because I think Canva doesn't know who they are. And as a result, but they're Canva, right? It's going to cause people who are thinking this is going to make my life easier to spend more time as a time suck and not get the things they need to get done to move their business forward.
Yeah, it's not as simple as it used to be. They're trying to be Walmart over there, and
Yeah.
we don't recommend you do that in your business either.
No, unless you're actually one of the Waltons. Stop. Their last names were Walton, right? I think so. But there was a TV show with the Waltons too, and now I'm really confused because it was like a House with Prey, but it was the Waltons.
I haven't looked into Walmart, family history or why it came about.
Oh, well, see, now that you live in Nashville, I think you need to get on that.
Why?
Because it's the South, and Walmart's like Oklahoma, Texas. I'm sure it's Tennessee as well too.
Oh, interesting. No, pass. I'm not a Walmart fan.
I'm not either. Never have been. Living in Waco, like Sick and Bears. That's all you had. There was back then. This was before Chip and JoJo made it a place on the map, and so you could only get your stuff at Walmart. And I hated it then, and I hate it now, and I hated it then because it didn't matter what time you went. There was always a freaking line to leave. Always. Like what? Why? Why are there no checkers at the front? Why? And the few times I've gone in the last years,
50, and then they'll have one open. One.
And it's still that way. Though I had to go there for something, and it was only this salsa that was Costco made me fall in love with it, and then they just wiped it off the map. And it was at the Walmart. I'm like, okay, I'll go to the Walmart. There's only one Walmart in my Orange County area. Like, it's a little one. It's actually a pretty one. Orange County. But same thing. Freaking one line. I said, I can't. Forget it. The salsa's not that good. I'm out.
Just put it was in your personal walkout. Just kidding.
That's what you said. Throw the money. Here it is. Here's $20. I'm out.
I don't have time for this.
Okay, so we're talking about branding and who you are. Although I guess Walmart does know who they are, but that's a whole other. We're not talking about Walmart. If you like Walmart, we're sorry, but not everyone likes everything. We don't like Walmart. It's fine. We can still be friends. Who are you? We got to figure out who we are before we can actually portray that in a brand. Before we can actually portray that with words, with images, on social media. And by the way, social media is so noisy. I don't know if y'all noticed. It is noisy, even if you have it on mute and dark mode, that if you aren't clear about your brand, you're going to get lost.
You're going to get lost, and you're going to get burnt out because you're not going to know how to show up.
Yeah. For sure. So I actually was meeting with someone, I was doing I did those little like, hey, I'm doing a coaching call. Come on down. I did 20 free ones, right? And this woman I'd never met before came. She's like, I've been watching you. She's like, I keep an eye on you. I'm like, okay. All right. That's awesome. And she was like, I get overwhelmed with what to post on social media. She's like, I know you said that thing about pick one thing, but I haven't picked that one thing yet. And so we were kind of talking through that. And she said, okay, but now that I picked that one thing, I don't know what to say. And I think that's why I get lost on social media. And I was like, I told her, I'm like, I'm going to send you some stuff, but there's a lot more. Like, she's got to figure out herself before she can even go anyhow. I'm like, 20 minutes is not enough time.
Even before she can, yeah. No, I get it. It's like, okay, guys, you are sitting down and you're ready to start showing up on social media. You're like, I'm ready. I'm going to grow this business. I'm using social media as a tool. We're talking about like what you kind of need to do before you even
get there,
show up.
And the first thing is you need to know your zone of genius. Your zone of genius. We all have a zone of genius. I don't want anything like, I don't have anything. Yes, you do. There's something that you either love to do, you're better at than anyone in your family. You are obsessed with knowing about it. It's maybe you were trained in it or you have a skill in it. You have something. Okay. I didn't say you need to be the best of the best. You do not need to be the Simone Biles goat of it. Man, she was so good. But you do have a zone of genius. And I want you to lean into that zone of genius, because if it's going to be something that you're going to be known for, don't you want to like actually like it and have an understanding of it? You don't have to learn something brand new. You have a zone of genius.
I see people burn out there. It's like they're like, okay, my zone of genius is going to be movie directing. I'm like, okay, do you know anything about movie directing? No, but I can learn it. Okay.
Yeah, no.
So now you can't start for another 2 years because you're going to be learning about movie directing. Like what is your zone of genius right now?
Right now. Hey.
Roxanne, you're really good at picking this out of people too.
Aw.
Every time you like meet with our like social teams people, or like you've done it to me even, where you're like, nope, that's it, that's the thing right there, because sometimes we can't see it, it comes so naturally to us, like you don't see like, oh, I guess I didn't realize I'm really good at hair. I just thought everyone was really good at hair.
Yeah, exactly. We devalue the thing we are a genius about, because it does come naturally to us, because we do have an interest in it, a passion in it, or we're just better than most people at it. So you need to ask yourself what that is. And it's okay if it has nothing to do with what you sell. I promise. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, you have to be more creative, but it's okay. Because I think that we think, okay, I love lash. I'm going to sell lash stuff, so I have to like love lashes. No, you don't. You need to find your zone of genius, because that's who you truly are. If you put something else on, like movie director, like you said, and then you start walking around with an accent and your arms are big and you're like, action, guess what? It's going to seem really fake, and people will know and be able to see.
Should they tie together though, to some extent?
I'd love it to, but I think if we're really starting at the very beginning with no judgment, you need to figure out what your zone of genius is, even if it has nothing to do with what you're going to sell. I'll be honest with you. You might realize, well, why the hell am I not selling something else then? That might come to you where you're like, I'm not selling the thing I should be, which that could be the answer. It truly can be. Or you have to ask yourself, what if this is my zone of genius? If I love being a vegan, why did I decide this beef jerky was really important? And then have that conversation with yourself and see if it is vegan and beef jerky, then yeah, maybe you need to switch. Maybe you need to sell a vegan type of jerky, with a little asterisk. They always just put the apostrophe. I'm like, oh my gosh, for the love of Pete, if you wanted the jerky, then you should just eat the beef anyway, or the turkey. So I have a whole thing about that. So also you need to know once you figure out your zone of genius, you need to ask yourself, what's your safe word? And I said this to Turner, she gave me this like, what? My point is, like, you need to know what is the thing that you don't feel comfortable talking about. There's something that you, for whatever reason, it's off limits. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's your personal life in some way. It is okay. Your zone of genius is big enough that you don't feel like you have to put your dog online if you don't want anyone to see your dog, right? It's totally fine. And I'm using lighter things, but it could be whatever it is. Maybe it is your work. Maybe you can't work can't know you're doing this, or they don't want to, whatever it is, totally fine. But you need to identify that and make that clear, so you know that you stay off of that path, and don't let anyone else tell you have to talk about it. You don't. Okay. Then lastly, when you figure this out, you need to take it and have a gut check with someone who's supportive of what you're doing, but is not in your network marketing company.
Keyword is supportive of what you're doing.
Yeah. That's big.
So someone who's not just going to be like, oh, well, why are you even doing this anyways? I don't. And you're like, no, just answer the question.
By the way, usually when they ask you why you're doing this anyways, it's really them. They're nervous about it. They would be nervous to do it. And so then they're asking you why you'd want to do it. Ignore. Don't see that as a sign. But I do think you need to check this, because, and the reason I say no one in your company, because I've seen it time and time again, where maybe you love ghosts and you love to talk about ghosts and you know all the things about ghosts, but the other people on your team think that's kind of weird. So if you went to them and said, I'm going to talk about ghosting, like, that's not going to help you with your business. But the reality is a lot of people like to talk about ghosts, and they like to talk about ghosts online. And those people like to buy stuff. So why can't you freaking talk about ghosts? You can. But if you go to your team, they're going to judge it because they wouldn't talk about it necessarily. But that just means you're going to find other people. That's good for everybody.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so we're walking away with 3 kind of action points that we're working with today. So, what's your zone of genius?
Zone of genius.
What's your safe word?
Yep. And last,
And talk to somebody who supports you.
Yep.
Get their opinion. And if it's like, yes, I see that that's what you like, or that doesn't make sense for you. What the heck? Get their gut reaction.
And stay off Canva. The extra stuff on Canva, just do the base.
And stay off the extra stuff. Don't waste your time on it yet. We'll let you know when it's worth looking into.
Exactly.
We'll do it.
What's going on in your world, Missy, in Nashville?
Oh, gosh. Okay, you guys. Last week we packed up the house, packed up the pod, drove down to Nashville, the car and the dog. Dog's staying with a friend. We're in the hotel for a few more days, and then we're moving into our apartment. And
Are you moving in early?
We're moving in on the 13th.
Has it been a month?
The month would be the 18th, so I wanted just some wiggle room.
Yeah, to go back and forth.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do it during the work week, so I chose Friday.
So you move
and
soon.
I'm ready.
I know you're ready. I feel it. I feel you very ready.
I feel like I've lost the pizzazz because I was thinking about it. We have been moving for a month and a half because we were on the island. I brought stuff back and then was in Michigan for a week, and then I had to go back and get Jeremy and then like move part 2, and then we did that with the house too. Like it's been a very long process, and I'm just a little petered out.
You definitely have done the long move route, and you've done the bulk of it. And so I can see why you're like, okay, I'm ready for a break. Whew, that was a lot.
I'm ready, right? Yes, for life to get a little normal. What our new normal is, I'm ready to figure it out. That's me. How about you?
What's been going on in my world? I can't remember. Oh, well, wait, I was watching gymnastics up the wazoo last week, which gave me life because we're like 42 weeks away from the Olympics. That's it. That is it.
So far still. That's so far.
Not according to NBC. They're like acting like it's tomorrow. Yeah, 42 weeks. It's less than a year. So that was super exciting. And then also we are working on we are designing our bedroom with a designer from Havenly. And we met with her last week. And she totally got she got it. So this week we meet with her again, and she's going to go, like, they do stage 1. Like, this is what I'm thinking about. And they show us 3 different designs, and we picked one.
Yeah.
And now she's doing like a mood, like that was the mood board. And now it's like a concept board. We meet with her again, and then she's going to make it 3D, which is going to make me so happy, which, you know what I learned, which I thought was really interesting. My man, Scott, does not understand the concept of a mood board or a concept board. And I realized I'm like, you didn't grow up with magazines. And he's like, well, yes, I did. I'm like, those kind of magazines, dude. I mean, like, I had tons of magazines, right? And what was the one? Simple, real, was it something simple? There was the one that was like kind of like your had more home stuff. And I don't know. I had tons of magazines, and we'd rip things apart and we'd put things and make collages. So I understand that when you do something, or I understand Pinterest for those of you who don't remember magazines. And so like, that mood board I know is not going to be the thing, but it's going to be like the feel. He would be like, I like that picture right over there. I don't like that one next to it. I'm like, darling, do you like the concept? And so when he saw this one, he was super like, I don't know. It looks kind of different. And he was taking it literally. And it was interesting. She wrote, she's like, if it's hard for you to understand it on the 2D, don't worry, on the 3D, it'll come together. And I read that like, who would that be hard for? My husband. So
she must, that's a man brain thinking versus a female. We need the vibe, the flow. Like, okay, before we go straight to 3D, like I need to feel the mood to make sure I like it.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, that was really exciting.
Oh, that's fun.
I can't wait to show y'all what it's
Ooh,
gonna look like. Good time. So that's what I can remember that I can tell you today. I know there's something else, but yeah, that's it
that's it for now, I suppose.
for now. Yep. See y'all later.
See you guys next week.